Hey, the BeerBiceps guy brings you TRS clips. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon. Now, one of the final few questions I have for you in the podcast. Again, we spoke a lot about wealth-driven societies in this, and that seems to be a concept that you think about a lot. Therefore, I feel like you think about wealth a lot in general. And I'm not talking about money. I'm just talking about wealth. Even means knowledge. Wealth means, just the ability to invest in different places, the ability to affect other people's lives, ability to elevate your team. All that is wealth. Keeping that in mind, what are the next industries you as an entrepreneur would invest in, would keep an eye out for this country slash for the world? What are you looking at specifically? And I obviously have to ask you that, do you have an eye on social media? Like, again, that's a selfish question, but really want to know.
Um, all wealth is created when you help people achieve what they want in life. Right? So the moment you make it easy for them to achieve what they want, they give you money for it. Right? So money is what we pay to somebody or a product to make it easy for us to achieve what we want. That's a summary of a business. Right? Now people want different things. Right? For example, if you ask a lot of Indian parents, they would disproportionately spend on, let's say, educating their kids, but would they pay 5 rupees extra delivery charge to get Swiggy 1 minute faster? No. Right? Because as a country, we never had industrial revolution. A country that does not have industrial revolution does not understand the value of time. Right? So for example, if you go to any Western country, you ask them what is your salary per hour, everybody knows. Because their first job was an hourly salary job. And even if their income grew, their math in their head is 1 hour ka mera salary kitna hai. In India, if you ask anybody what's your income per hour, they have no clue. Because our first job was a monthly job and continues to be a monthly income. And therefore, we do not take good decisions with our time on an hourly basis. For example, if you find out that your salary per hour is 5,000 rupees, does it make sense to spend 30 minutes to look for a 200 rupees discount for a flight ticket? And these questions are not asked because we don't understand these concepts. And therefore, in this country, making money on products that save time sometimes is harder versus products that increase status, because we're a status-driven society. And fundamentally, all the profits are in status-driven society. I'll tell you one fun example. I have a friend who used to be a buyer at a very large retail company in India. I asked her to just check one thing, that can you please check the margins of product in products that are sold for living room and products that are sold for bedroom. And she's like, ऐसे categorization नहीं होता, we have dining, we have kitchen. I said, नहीं यार एक काम करो, please check for living room versus bedroom. And the profit margins of products for living room had 3x more margins than bedroom in a large retail company. Why? Because living room ke products are made for status. Bedroom is not. And fundamentally, therefore, margins in India are more in living room products than bedroom products. But if you switch this context and go to Western countries where it's individualistic, they will be spending a lot more money in their bed sheets and a lot more in their mattresses and beautiful pillows, and their bathrooms will have expensive products because they're taking care of themselves. But we are thinking about log kya kahenge. And therefore the motivation and margins exist in about status. Like, think about all your relatives. Am I likely to make money from them if I offer them status or convenience? Think about it. The answer is almost instant. Right?
What would be examples of status driven businesses, like, that have this status game at their core?
Like, think about Manyavar, Shadi ke kapde, right? iPhone, Audi, Chashma. Like, you'll be surprised, these have like 70-80% gross margin because they make you look cool, right? The material cost is nothing. It'll probably be 30 rupees, 40 rupees, but it's sold for, if you put a Gucci next to it, it'll probably sell for 5,000, 25,000, 60,000, right? Any product that we signal, like this thing, I'm wearing, what is this? Just because there's an Adidas logo, it'll be so much more expensive because you can recognize, oh, this is Adidas. I know what this is, right? And status products are designed naturally that way, right? I'll tell you what. Remember when we were in school and anybody who got that magnetic compass box was cool? All kids are status driven. They're not well driven by design. And therefore,
Wow.
all products sold to kids are usually with very high gross margin because kids are constantly trying to compete each other with status. You remember that all these cards we got, flash cards, they were so expensive. But we took it because we could show off to our friends. Right? So fundamentally, products that increase your status will always be higher gross margin. And you can either increase the status or prevent status loss, right? So anything that is like an insurance will be high gross margin business because it'll reduce your social status. So you protect it in some ways. So basically anything that is emotional in nature will always have higher gross margin. I remember watching this movie, Ayushmann Khurrana and their parents have kids at a very late age. I'm forgetting the name of the movie.
I know the one you're talking about.
Badhai Ho.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where this guy goes to a wedding of his Jijaji and he says, कि यार शर्मा जी मतलब कमाल कर दिया मतलब. And the Sharma ji says very interesting line saying that कमाते किसके लिए हैं. So the Indian mindset is that keep collecting money and udao on weddings. But how many unicorns in India, startups, have background of weddings? Zero. The reason it is zero is we have no ideas to copy from the world because the world does not have arranged marriages or spend so much on weddings. So we have not learned anything. Most of our ideas in India are copycat models of the Western or Eastern models, whereas spending on wedding is a very Indian thing. But we figured out education. So there are lots of education startups that are becoming very, very big because we figured out that Indians spend disproportionately on education. Right? I often tell people that education in India is like treated like taweez, right? एक तावीज, दो तावीज, तीन तावीज, चावीज, जितना तावीज बेच सकते हो because everybody thinks of this as an insurance product कि ये लगा देंगे तो बच्चा बढ़ जाएगा, ये लगा तो income बढ़ जाएगा. So I think that's the way to think about it, right? Fundamentally, the country is confused about these things and will never understand these things, and therefore your job is to not make them well driven. Your job is to understand कि किस चीज के लिए पैसे देंगे, right? And you'll be surprised. Think about when you managed to take money from your parents for doing some work for them. Was it more to save their time or was it more to increase their status? And sometimes asking these questions will reveal more things.
What industries would you point young investors at or young entrepreneurs who just don't know what they want to enter?
Pitch ideas to your mom, dad, cousins and ask them, would you pay money for it? Not look at internet. Don't look at internet. The answers are around you. And if you can find a way to let them pay for it, make a large platform like an app to distribute it or a web to distribute it. I always ask this question to your family members. Do you think people will pay money for this? Would you pay money for this? What will your dad pay money for? What will your mom pay money for? What will your cousins, brothers, sisters will pay money for? And if you know this, 90% of time you'll create a successful business because you fundamentally ask the question, iske liye paise doge kya?